Your kind isn't welcome here. Too rowdy. Take your business elsewhere. That's what the guy said to me. Loud enough so everyone in that grimy little bar could hear it, too. The kind of voice that wants to make a scene. I hadn't even touched my beer. I just sat there, quietly not bothering anyone, just breathing, thinking, existing. Rowdy, I said, not raising my voice, just enough for him to hear. I haven't even finished my first drink, but he was already done with me. Jerked a thumb toward the door like I was a stray dog that wandered in off the street. Out before I make you leave, he growled. Yeah, that happened. It was one of those nights where the cold wasn't just in the air, but in your bones, not from the wind, but from the way people look at you, or in this case, refuse to. 15 years in the Navy SEALs, Afghanistan, Somalia, operations nobody talks about, and now I was getting tossed out of a dive bar for looking like trouble. Not for doing anything, just for being. Port City was supposed to be a fresh start. Quiet little coastal town, fishing boats rocking in the harbor, seagulls squawking over bait buckets, salty air cutting through the noise in your head. I'd rented a cramped room over a tackle shop and was trying to get used to the idea that I didn't have to check for snipers or IEDs before stepping outside. Civvy life, they call it. But nothing about it felt civil. The bar was called the Salty Gull. I should have known from the name it wasn't going to be the friendliest perch. The place was mostly empty. That Tuesday night, couple regulars hunched over drinks, murmuring like they didn't want to be noticed. I sat in the corner, ordered one beer, kept my back to the wall. Habit. The owner, Vic Rizzo, thick-necked, bulldog face, probably hadn't served anything other than beer or bad attitude in years, kept eyeballing me. Every time I glanced up from the nautical chart on the wall, I caught him scowling like I'd parked a tank out front. Eventually, he stomped over, arms crossed like a security guard outside a club nobody wants to get into. You casing the joint or something? He barked. I blinked. Just drinking? He scoffed. I don't like your kind of thinking. Makes folks nervous. What kind is that? You know damn well. The quiet kind. Military types. Always looking for a fight. Think you own the place. I've had enough of it. He didn't know me. He didn't know anything about me. But he had decided just like that. You're too rowdy, he said again, as if repeating it would make it true. So finish up whatever swill you're drinking and get out. I placed the glass down gently. Not because I was afraid. I could have handled him and his overfed bouncer without breaking a sweat. I didn't because I knew how that would play out. I'd be the angry vet. I'd be the story on the local news. And in this country, once you wear that title dangerous, you don't get to rewrite it. So I left. Didn't say a word. Just stood, nodded slightly like a man, might at a flag-draped coffin, and walked out. But I wasn't done. No, I didn't call a lawyer. Didn't scream on social media. I opened a secure line to Reaper Jake Rock, my old team leader. Sent him a message. Nothing dramatic. Just a heads up. Salty Gull Bar. Owner hostile to military. Kicked me out. FYI. I figured that was it. Just needed to tell someone. Needed it off my chest. Next afternoon, just after 3, Vic Rizzo was unlocking the front door for happy hour when the first van pulled up. Then another. Then a third. Big, matte black, no logos. Engines idling like predators waiting for a signal. Doors slid open and out stepped 12 men. Tall. Clean. Eyes sharp. They didn't wear uniforms, but you could see it the way they moved, how they scanned everything at once without moving their heads. These were warriors. My brothers. Jake led them. Expression flat like the surface of still water right before a storm. They walked across the street in loose formation, not running, not rushing, but moving with purpose. It was the kind of walk that said, "We're not here to play." Vic saw them coming. You could see it in his eyes, that moment where his brain tried to compute what was happening but couldn't catch up. They stopped in front of the bar. Didn't say a word. Vic stepped out, hands twitching. "How can I help you, gentlemen?" Jake didn't answer. Not right away. Just stared. "Vic Rizzo?" he finally asked. "Yeah." Vic managed to croak. "We understand," Jake said calmly. "There was a misunderstanding last night with one of our brothers. Man named Mac." Vic's smile was fake, oily. "Misunderstanding. Look, he was being difficult. I just asked him to leave. No harm done." Behind Jake, Tank 6'5" and built like a tractor, let out a low sound. Not quite a laugh. More like a distant growl. No harm done, Jake repeated, quiet as a whisper, but with the weight of a sledgehammer. You insulted him. You threw him out. You judged him not on what he did, but on what you assumed. Is that how you do business, Mr. Rizzo? Vic tried to backpedal. Hey, I support the troops. Got a flag out front. Jake didn't blink. A flag doesn't mean a damn thing if you disrespect the people it represents. There was that line that cut through the noise, the excuses, the cowardice. Jake continued, we were planning to have a small get-together here this afternoon. About a dozen of us. Maybe more. Drinks. Food. Support a local bar. He looked around the sad little establishment. But given last night, we're rethinking it. Vic's mouth opened, shut, opened again. Listen, it was a mistake. I apologize. First round's on the house. Jake stepped forward, just enough to make Vic take a half step back. You'll apologize to Mac. Personally. Genuinely. And you'll welcome him back here like a man who earned that right. Then he added, and you'll be making a public donation to the Navy SEAL Foundation. In Mac's name. Think of it as community outreach. Vic looked like he'd swallowed a nail. A donation? Jake nodded toward Doc, our medic, and also our accountant. He'll walk you through the numbers. For the next hour, the Salty Gull might as well have been under new management. Doc and Vic disappeared into the back. The rest of us sat quietly, didn't drink, didn't talk, didn't even look around much. We just existed. That was enough. Anyone who walked and turned around. Eventually, Vic came out pale, sweaty, and probably a few $1,000s lighter. He picked up the phone, called Mac, and apologized like his life depended on it. Because in a way, his pride, his manhood did. Mac didn't gloat. He accepted the apology. Later that week, he stopped by the bar. Vic nearly tripped over himself, bringing the man a beer on the house. The bouncer gave him a respectful nod. And Mac, he just sat there, same table, same quiet watchfulness, except this time, he smiled. Because it wasn't about revenge. It wasn't even about beer. It was about being seen, being respected, about reminding people that dignity isn't something you get to deny someone just because you're uncomfortable. Port City changed after that. Word spread. The Salty Gull became the vet-friendly spot in town, not because of a flag out front, but because of the respect inside. And me? I realized something that day. Brotherhood doesn't end when the uniform comes off. Sometimes the loudest statements don't come from fists or gunfire, but from 12 silent men standing shoulder to shoulder saying, we don't leave our own behind. So now let me ask you something. What do you think? Was Mac right to walk away? Was the team right to walk back in? Was Vic's apology enough? Or too little too late? Tell me what you believe about justice, loyalty, and what it really means to stand with someone. Because sometimes the quietest man in the room has the loudest story to tell. And sometimes all it takes is one silent nod for the whole world to listen.